Hello, everyone. This is Soanna Benjamin with EmoNews Now package for July 10th, 2025. Coming up, Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation holds talks with Stockfarm residents. National Symposium on Marijuana gets underway, and Caribbean Airlines increase flights between Dominica, Puerto Rico, and New York. The Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation met with residents of Stockfarm and neighboring communities on Wednesday, the purpose of which was to apologize for and hear concerns over the recent fires which affected the areas recently. Cara Wilson, landfill manager acting, stressed that the corporation does no incineration at the landfill and is presently doing everything in its power to deal with the resultant smoke.
Although we know that the fire is going to be underground and it's going to continue burning until it burns out over time, we have no open flames and we have no smoke. That was our main concern, to extinguish the flames and to ensure that we limit the amount of smoke that affected the adjacent or the areas in the vicinity. But that has been done. Yesterday we had no smoke. Today we have no smoke, and we did a lot of work in terms of covering up the material with soil and tarnish, and then saturating that material to suffocate the flames. And so over time, we were able to extinguish the flames, and the fire is currently under control because we have no open flames and no smoke. So we would once again like to apologize to the public, the people who were affected. We understand that there are a lot of people with respiratory issues, and we know that the inhalation of that smoke must have aggravated their conditions, and the corporation sincerely apologizes for that inconvenience, because we do not do any incineration at the landfill, and it is never our intention to do anything which is going to cause harm to the people in the vicinity. So in order to what we have plans of doing is re-engaging the WASCO and the fire service for the installation of some fire hydrants up onto the site, because we have a hydrant at the landfill, but it is down in the yard of the sanitary landfill and not up on the site. And we intend to increase our security in that area with the installation of some cameras and some fencing. And what we would like the public to understand is that area where the fire started, that area of the landfill, is kind of exposed to private lands, and those private lands are accessible by a private road. So we do not have control of who accesses that road to that area. So the most we can do is just try to increase the security in that area so that it would prevent the people all access to that area. So those are the things that we plan on doing, and like we have done in the past, we segregate the types of waste that is on the landfill, so we do not have material that can cause fires or accelerants near highly flammable materials. We segregate those things, so we just plan on continuing to do that and manage waste in as best a way as we can.
Wilson added that the corporation has put in place a mitigation plan should fires occur in the area in the future.
As far as we know, the landfill fire started sometime between the hours of 1 and 3 on Monday, 30th June 2025. And it started in the tire stock area, that is towards the eastern boundary of the sanitary landfill. Because of where the fire started, we believe that it was not accidental, and we know for a fact it's not spontaneous combustion, because we do not have any materials being deposited there that could cause spontaneous combustion.
When asked about plans to relocate at least some sections of the landfill, manager Florian Mitchell had this to say.
Yeah, so with respect to improve landfill services in Dominica, I mean, there is a need for a decentralization approach. As you note that the landfill is basically in a very dense community. You have Stock Farm on one side, you have one Daniel on the other side. Further down south, you have Newtown, and then you have a lot of other government infrastructure. So you have the hospital, you have the state college where we are in right now, and other institutions. So decentralization is something that we've been having discussion on. The construct of it, we have not totally formalized it, but it's essential that we would consider decentralizing the system. So probably derelict bulky waste could be somewhere else. The landfilling in itself, that is a practice that we really want to move away from, but there will always be a need for having a landfill. What we'd like to see is a more resource-driven approach, which is the circular economy approach towards waste management, where we consider waste as a resource. And those things are under consideration. We've been having discussion with the Prime Minister on the matter. And as soon as we are prepared to present to the public our findings in terms of the location that might be more practical, and selecting landfill locations might be a little challenging. Dominica is a very mountainous island, so getting suitable flat land might also be a challenge. The issue that we're facing now is the proximity to a community, and when we have mishap, as what we saw. So whenever you have issues of induced perils, it is affecting the community, and we really would like to transition from that activity and behavior, and thus this decentralization system that we are seeing.
Meanwhile, Stockholm resident Troy Shillingford expressed his frustration with the corporation.
Good afternoon. My name is Troy Shillingford, a resident of the Stoam Community, and I'm there with a headache, but I'm still there because I want to hear what all this have to say to us today. After going through this tribulation for so many years, year after year, and I just want to hear them tell me today how long they plan to remain in the existing spot that they are, because they're supposed to be a focal, I believe, for 10 years, which they have passed. The landfill has exceeded their capacity. They have proved year by year that they cannot manage this thing properly, because we have been experiencing this problem year after year. And I tell I have a headache and I try because I have to be there today. Our children suffering, and I don't mind if I have to stand me. I'm going to speak for the prisoners. I have a bedridden lady behind me. Her son is a doctor. I wish he would have been standing up next to me for his mother. We have elderly people in the lane suffering from stroke. In my lane next to me, I have a baby that born preemie, and Saturday they had to take the baby to the doctor. Right now inside there are people with masks, their voice is gone, and it don't have a solution to that problem. Right now inside they're smelling the smoke. The smoke has risen again every afternoon. It's the same thing. So I don't know what's with there, we smelling the smoke right now. So it's nothing solid which can tell me to make me feel better. But we just want to hear what's their plans to move, to relocate.
Dominica continues to move forward with plans towards a sustainable, manageable, and well-regulated medicinal cannabis industry as a two-day symposium got underway on Wednesday. Dominica hopes to develop a responsible, inclusive, and economic viable cannabis industry that benefits everyone. It is reported that the global cannabis market is projected to grow from US 10.6 million in 2018 to nearly 100 billion in 2026. Here is a performance of the House of Nyabingi at the symposium. In other news, journalists from across the region are in Dominica attending a workshop as part of the Caribbean Energy Transition Reporting Initiative, SETRI. This workshop aims to train journalists so that more climate-focused writing may be done. Hear from Alison Kentish, project coordinator.
Okay, so this is a 3-day workshop. The theme of the workshop is science meets storytelling. And it's really important because it's based on the most important story of our time. It's the biggest story we will ever tell. climate change, and it's focused on a very important aspect of climate change, that's energy and the environment. So we have with us some renowned scientists, as well as journalism lecturers and facilitators. We also have a segment on branding, using your voice and your platform effectively. And so this morning we had Dr. Indra Harak Singh, who's known as a rock star in the world of renewable energy in the Caribbean. She's a physicist at the University of the West Indies. And in fact, she designed the first ever Masters of Science program in renewable energy in the Caribbean. And she spoke to us about solar energy. She will be speaking to us again tomorrow on geothermal. We had Anika Kentish, who is a journalism trainer, and she spoke to about backpack journalism. And the whole idea of it is being able to grab your backpack with everything you need in it and head anywhere, locally, regionally, internationally, and cover stories, especially disaster or climate-related stories. So I'm really happy that we have regional journalists here. We have Dominica, Antigua, St. Lucia, Barbados, and Grenada.
EmoNews spoke with some of the participants who said that so far the workshop has been interesting and informative.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan Bachoo, BACHOO, a journalist, a climate change journalist from Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm delighted to be in Dominica for the SETRI workshop. Energy transition has become and is becoming more and more important, a topic where I come from, particularly Trinidad and Tobago, and then you have other nations like Guyana, like Suriname. So this workshop is really critical for journalists like myself to effectively tell the stories of the energy transition, in particularly oil and gas-based countries like Trinidad and Tobago. And so coming to Dominica and having such a wonderful cast of presenters, enlighten us on not only the most important topics as it pertains to energy transition, but also the most trending stories and news when it comes to energy transition. It's a really, really important assignment for me. And I think once I emerge out of this, a stronger reporter, a more knowledgeable reporter about the energy transition, I believe that I'll be able to not only tell Trinidad and Tobago's energy transition story, but particularly others around the region.
Hello everyone, my name is Gary Yogis. I'm here representing the Caribbean Youth Environment Network, Dominica chapter, as well as Dominica's conservation NGO Wild Dominique. And we're here at this workshop called Science Meets Storytelling. And so far, the two presenters have been amazing. We have gotten background from a well-renowned scientist in the solar power renewable energy field, Ms. Dr. Indra. Her presentation was fantastic. I learned a lot, and I really enjoyed it because I came here more for the science background. That's what my background is in. And our second presenter talked about journalism and what it takes to be a good journalist and the risks that they take, as well as her experience working in the Caribbean. I thought it was very, very eye-opening, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the workshop.
Grenada's Source of Industries in the spotlight as the Food and Agriculture Organization, in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, recently concluded assessments to implement a sustainable good agricultural practices certification system. Between June 15th to the 18th, field visits were conducted across Grenada, engaging farmers, exporters, and relevant authorities. Leading the field mission, Mr. Ricardo Pineda, FAO GAP specialist, remarked, Grenada's source of industry is uniquely positioned to grow, but it needs a coordinated push to implement practical gaps and certification standards. Farmers, exporters, and government authorities have shown readiness to build a culture of quality that will secure higher value markets and better livelihoods. Caribbean Airlines has announced that effective August 15th, customers will enjoy non-stop service between Dominica and Puerto Rico up to 3 times weekly. Additionally, the airline has increased non-stop flights between Dominica and Trinidad as part of its enhanced commercial schedule. These additional flights facilitate seamless onward connections to and from New York, making travel between Dominica, Puerto Rico, Trinidad, and New York easier and more convenient, supporting business, leisure, and cultural exchange across the region. CEO of Caribbean Airlines, Gavin Medera, stated, "These schedule enhancements are a direct response to market demand and feedback from our valued customers. At Caribbean Airlines, we are focused on delivering a consistent and reliable product and fulfilling our mandate to improve connectivity throughout the Caribbean." 31 construction workers in a massive underground tunnel in Los Angeles were rescued Wednesday night after a portion of the structure collapsed. Following the dramatic rescue operation in Wilmington, Los Angeles, the fire department confirmed that the individuals showed no apparent injuries. Several of them were lifted to safety using a crane, and over 100 fire department personnel, including specialized urban search and rescue teams, responded swiftly to the scene. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass shared details of the effort on Twitter. On Tuesday, President Trump held a second meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House. The two leaders focused on negotiating a potential ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, while Netanyahu also emphasized efforts to secure the release of 50 Israeli hostages believed to remain in the heavily damaged Palestinian enclave, including 20 he recently stated are still alive. Following the meeting, Netanyahu posted a video message on social media reaffirming Israel's commitment to achieving its objectives. These, he said, include dismantling Hamas's military and governing power to prevent future threats from Gaza. In sports news, Sagicor Southeast wrapped up week 12 with a 3-1 win over East Central on Sunday. Southeast took control in the first half with goals from Darren James and Sidney Lockett. Trey Douglas added his name to the scoreboard early in the second half. Nathan Newton netted a late consolation for East Central. The man of the match was grabbed by Cheston Prosper for his all-around contribution to the result. In cricket news, Cricket West Indies 2025 Rising Stars Women's Under-19 Championship began on Tuesday, 8th July in Trinidad and will run until the 19th. Of course, you can expect to see some of the region's most promising young female cricketers, including Dominica's very own Shadia Seaman, Kayla George, Abigail Celestine, and Maya Gilbert, who will form part of the Windward's attack. The championship was won last year by Guyana, with the Windward Islands coming in second. We want to wish Dominica's four best of luck. This has been EmoNews Now for Thursday, July 10th. I am your presenter, Anna Benjamin. See you next time.